At least one UVA fan was predicting what Tony Elliott was going to say after Virginia's ugly 45-17 loss to Georgia Tech before he even made it to the podium. A poster on the saber.com message board. This was pretty funny from a CB handle, Seville Merton. I expect him to go back to superficially taking responsibility, as in, it's on me. I need to do a better job of finding a way as a coach of convincing players not to become complacent, not to lack commitment, not to stop using our fundamentals that we coach. So that's what the prediction was. As this guy was writing this on the message board, this is what actually Elliott was saying. It's on me. I did not do a great job of having his football team prepared and ready to go to high level. You know about the guys. It's kind of telling football how momentum can swing and how things in the game can change quickly and how we weren't able to capture momentum once it changed. I mean, there's a lot of other word salad stuff there. Unfortunately, Tony Elliott's gotten really good at this. He's 5-14 in 2 seasons at Virginia, 2-10 in the ACC. Still hasn't won a home ACC game in his tenure. And unfortunately, I mean, it's a bit of bad luck. It's always something. On Saturday in the loss to Georgia Tech, it was early injuries. Starting quarterback Tony Muskett went down. Outside linebacker Kam Robinson went down. Both changed the calculus for Virginia, which led 7-0 early on, but couldn't get the offense going after the second offensive possession without Muskett, and couldn't stop Georgia Tech from gaining big yards on the ground after Robinson was knocked out of the game late in the first quarter. The margin for error is that slim. Could be just a couple guys going down. And in part, I mean, that's Elliott's fault. He worked really hard to run off as much as he could of what he inherited from Bronco Mendenhall after taking the job in late 2021. The quarterback room is so thin that it's just Muskett, an FCS transfer, and true freshman Anthony Calandria, with the third string guy being Grady Brosterhouse, who's a walk on. And you know, he's, God love him, he tries hard, but he's a walk on. And Robinson, the difference maker on the edge for Virginia defensively this season, is like Calandria, a true freshman. And without him out there, Virginia just had no answer for Georgia Tech's spread option offense. Georgia Tech only had 26 yards rushing in the first quarter when Robinson was out there. Not saying that he's the reason why that was the case, but just partly calculus, right? After that, they had 170 yards in the second quarter after Robinson went out, and finished with 305 on the ground on the day. And that one hurt. I was talking with somebody today as I was voting at the elections, and big football fan, and the question, and big Carolina football fan particularly, and you know, how did this Virginia team that beat Carolina a couple of weeks ago, played so well against Miami in an overtime loss last week, play so poorly? I mean, in fact, this Carolina fan said, I saw the score and figured it was reversed, and Virginia had won the game 45-17 the way they'd been playing. You know, that 3-game stretch that included a win over William & Mary to start the little nice streak of good play, it looked like it was something to build on, and then you lay the big egg. You know, it's, you know, the fans weren't out in numbers. Maybe people foresaw what was going to happen. I don't know. I didn't. But you know, there were 42,000 and change officially on hand, but the ushers told us during the game it was closer to 30,000 or below 30,000. And not many from that group came back after halftime. It was 24-10 Georgia Tech at the break. Georgia Tech just expanded from there. It was 38-10, and people left in the early fourth quarter. And you have to wonder what Carla Williams, the athletics director who ran Mendenhall off, was thinking as she was watching from the president's box across the way. You know, there's no way that she envisioned Tony Elliott, who was the hot coach. Let's not cut, you know, anything there out of the equation. He was the hot coaching prospect coming in, you know, off of the year before. Whether or not you believe the Tennessee AD, you know, Elliott interviewed for the Tennessee job, thought it was his, turned it down. Could have had the Duke job, decided on the Virginia job, thought the Virginia job was the best job he'd had a chance at. And I mean, in a lot of ways, I would agree that, you know, of those three choices, that probably was the best situation for him. But you know, again, he's 5-14 in 2 seasons. Now, this is the University of Virginia we're talking about. No quick hook is coming. Probably one isn't deserved. You know, I mean, we can argue that. I argue with myself that sometimes. There's at least another year, probably another couple years, before people in charge even begin to think about what might have to be next. In the meantime, we get more long mea culpas from Tony Elliott. And, you know, 2 wins in 3 weeks might have felt like championship level football, given how things had gone for Elliott to get to that point. But one of those wins was over an FCS team. Let's just be fair. The second was over a team that's getting exploited by everybody right now. Since Carolina lost to Virginia, that went out and got beat by Georgia Tech as well. And then the loss to Miami came in a game that Virginia dominated statistically and just found a way to lose. So this is Virginia football right now. Virginia is sitting at 2-7 right now. The next game is on the road at Louisville. It's actually Thursday night. I'm recording this on Tuesday, so we don't have a lot of time between now and then. And Louisville, I mean, a top 15 team had one slip up, a loss to Pitt, but just this past weekend blew out Virginia Tech, a team that had been playing pretty well of late. Blew them out 34-3. There are 2 games at home, Duke and Virginia Tech, to finish up the season. Duke has come back to earth a bit after a really good start. Riley Leonard, the quarterback, is not 100%, not even anywhere close to 100%. And that's been a big difference for Duke of late. Virginia Tech is 4-5. They're not like beating down the world or anything, but they win this game. It seems like every year. They've only lost one of the last 100. It feels like. So there's chances to be a spoiler. Go to Louisville and upset that team somehow. That would really spoil Louisville season. Louisville's looking to get into the ACC championship game in a few weeks, and this would be a huge loss if Virginia were to play great football and somehow win that game. And then the Duke and Virginia Tech games. I mean, Duke is 6-3 right now. They're playing for what bowl they play in, and they're playing, whether they have to go north or south for their bowl game. Virginia Tech right now at 4-5 is probably, by the time we get to November 25th, playing for whether or not they're in a bowl. Who knows? I mean, they could win their next 2. I don't know what their schedule is off the top of my head, but that game could either be for a bowl game for Virginia Tech or how far north they have to go. I think if they're 6-5 going into that game, they're not going to go anywhere warm, but they're how far north do they have to go, right? So chance for Virginia to play spoiler. That's pretty much what it is, but also a chance to build momentum for next year. If Virginia can ruin 1 or 2 team seasons in the next 3 weeks, that's something. And then that could help recruiting, both on the prep side, but more importantly, probably for the short term, the portal recruiting. And positive momentum of any kind right now Virginia football needs. I mean, we just can't ask for anything more than that. So we just got to get to the Saturday after Thanksgiving without having to hear another "I didn't do my job again this week" speech from Tony Elliott. If we can get there, maybe there's something to build on going forward. We can always hope. As the next couple days go on, we don't have a lot of time. This week is really getting to me with elections, with Virginia basketball starting, other schools basketball starting, and then Virginia football being on a short week. I haven't touched the Virginia Louisville game. That's going to be tomorrow for me on Wednesday, so we'll get to that. Go to Augusta Free Press for that. Go to Augusta Free Press for more on Virginia's season opening win over Tarleton State. Didn't give much of a run yesterday, but still we got a chance to get a first glimpse at Virginia basketball. Go to AFP also, of course, for the election. We'll be working on that here pretty soon. So thank you for joining me here. And if you have any questions for me about anything, UVA football, UVA basketball, sports in general, politics in general, local news, etc., please email me at chris@augustafreepress.com.